Hey Beauts, I am back. I'm back. Finally, I am back after a very, very long absence. Welcome back to, or welcome to if you're new here, Pretty Scary, the channel that brings you budget-friendly, easy to follow makeup tutorials that you can recreate at home. And today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Is a Q&A video. Now I didn't get as many questions as I would have liked, which is something I was probably expecting because I'm only a very tiny YouTuber and nobody's really interested in me. Question number one. The lovely Hannah on Facebook asks, if you could have done the FX for any film or TV show, which one would you pick and why? Right, well, film-wise there are two, for very different reasons. The first one is The Exorcist, because I think it's one of the classic all-time horror films ever created. Made in 1977, I believe, which was before I was born. But it was just visionary for its time in terms of the special effects. And the reason for that is because it was done by the master, the godfather, Dick Smith, who was I should say, because he sadly passed away a few years ago, and I'm going to stick with this, is one of my greatest special effects makeup idols. He pioneered a lot of effects. He was a leading light in the industry, and the effects that he produced for The Exorcist were just brilliant. They stand up even today against all the advances that we've got in materials, techniques. The other film that I would have loved to have worked on is Pan's Labyrinth. It's one of my favourite films. It's just genius. It's beautifully written, beautifully shot, beautifully directed, and the special effects and the character creations, the monsters are just incredible. It's just a masterpiece, and the Pale Man being one of my favourite all-time ever characters that I would love to create on this channel. TV show would I like to have worked on? It would probably be, again, one of two. Stranger Things, just because it was epic and it was 80s and I love the 80s. I've forgotten the name of the bloody creatures. I want to call them Gorgonzolas, but I know they're not called Demogorgons. The Demogorgons are just brilliant. Is American Horror Story, one of the most stylish, brilliantly shot works of art. Question number two. Melissa on Facebook asks, what made you want to do this kind of makeup? What film thing influenced you most? I have always, since I was a kid, loved monsters. One of the biggest films that influenced me as a child, and that I still love to this day, is Neverending Story. I watched it so many times I knew the words with them. Also was fascinated by horror films. Obviously I wasn't allowed to watch them, but I remember I used to go into the video shop with my mum and dad on a Saturday, and I always used to kind of migrate over to the horror section, and I was fascinated by the covers. The one that sticks in my mind is The Incredible Melting Man for some reason. And as I got a little bit older, my dad did sneakily let me watch little clips, because my dad loves horror films. Ridiculously, when I was a child, I was actually scared by certain things. Like I was really scared by Doctor Who, or Doctor Hoover as I used to call it. I used to hide behind the sofa, and I just became fascinated by horror characters, special effects. I remember getting a book out of the library all about special effects makeup, and I just read it from cover to cover and I loved it. Question number three. Lucy asks the really pertinent question, if there were crab people, would they walk like crabs or talk like people, or both? I think they'd do both. I think no self-respecting crab person would only walk like a crab or talk like a person. Amy on Facebook says, what is the one thing / job you are most proud of in your career so far? One of the things that really stands out, just because it's a bit of a name drop type scenario, is working on Harry Potter. Although I did wrestle with the decision to work on Harry Potter because I was originally meant to be working on Dog Soldiers, but the filming kept getting put back and back and back and back, kept ringing every Friday religiously to see if they had finished their last lot of filming. They were making giant prawns for something and never quite found out what that was for, but before we actually got a date to start on Dog Soldiers, we got the opportunity to work on Harry Potter. So we chose Harry Potter, which was a great experience, and I'm so glad I worked on it. But a little bit of me is a bit gutted that I didn't get to work on Dog Soldiers. The thing I'm most proud of, running my business in London with my partner at the time, it was called Complete Makeup Services, and looking back, we actually became pretty successful, really, considering that at the time there wasn't the internet. Again, I'm showing my age. We had to do everything through legwork, phone calls, and we scored, considering we were just two very young, very newly graduated uni students, we managed to convince some pretty important people to work with us, setting up this channel. It's something I'd wanted to do for a long time. I'm not quite as far ahead with it as I would like to be, which I'll go into more about that later. But I am still immensely proud of everything I've achieved. Really proud. Question number 4. This is from Dave on a Rave, who is one of my biggest supporters on YouTube. So hi Dave on a Rave, thank you for all your support. Part 1 of Dave on a Rave's question. Favourite school subject and why? Art, obviously, dance and drama. Would you go on I'm a Celebrity as a qualified celeb with a YouTube channel if paid handsomely? Right, well, a girl can dream. I really don't know. The problem is I'm terrified of spiders. Maybe it would depend on what stage of my life I was in at the time and how much money I was offered. And number 3, would you go on Piers Morgan life stories if paid handsomely? Again, I can't imagine that Piers Morgan in a million years would ever be interested in my life story. But as you can tell from this video, and if you follow me, you will know that I like to talk and I'm quite an open person, so yeah, sure, why not? And Creative on Instagram asks, what's your favourite SFX makeup you've ever created and why? In terms of my professional work, because my professional work is very different from the stuff I do on YouTube, the techniques I show you, although it does include some professional techniques, a lot of them are more what I term as costume makeups, sort of accessible techniques that anybody at home can do without having to have a degree in makeup and special effects and without having to buy thousands of pounds worth of kit. My favourite professional makeup has to be one I did for a short film called Who's There. I was called on at the last minute because their makeup artist had fallen through. Suffering very badly with anxiety and panic attacks, and I actually had a huge panic attack on the first morning of filming. I literally had to keep sitting down every minute or so when I was trying to get ready because my legs just wouldn't stay underneath me, if you get what I mean. I just was really dizzy, and I remember I had to walk from my house only about 5 minutes down the road to where the producer was picking me up with my kit. And to this day I do not know how I got from my front door to his car. And I was really poorly as well, like I had a really bad virus, but I was determined I wanted to work on that film, and I did, and I was really chuffed with myself because I produced some of my best work. I was told that then I needed to do a bruising makeup on a girl in the film, but also there was going to be a scene where when she had the bruising on her, she was going to be in the shower. Now, kind of up until that point, I'd only ever really used kind of bruise wheels, like Ben and I bruise wheel, and bruise gels, I sounded very Worcester then. So I had to think outside the box, and I had to think very quickly outside the box, but I decided to use alcohol paints. and I did some experiments on myself the night before, and they turned out brilliantly, and to this day I am so proud of that bruise maker. But in terms of my channel, I think probably one of my favourite makeups, which is very underrated on my channel, it hasn't really got many views, which I was a bit disappointed about because I love it, my zombie bride makeup. Score ugly makeup on Instagram, I was going to say YouTube there, Instagram asks, what is the one FX product you couldn't live without? Alcohol paints. Amazing. Not the cheapest, this palette was £90, but they are just incredible. They do the work for you, they make everything you do just look brilliant. I'm thinking of doing a series of short videos, of little trainings on different things. So I'm thinking I might do some alcohol paint trainings. But if you did want to splash out, then this will be your best friend. It's just, oh, I love it. Oh, and liquid latex. I've got to give good old liquid latex an honorary mention. Putting cheap, easy to do makeups at home, it is second to none, and I love your liquid latex. Steve says, do you plan to stay on YouTube now that loads of non-kid friendly channels are being targeted for demonetization or even getting deleted? Very good question, and it's one of the things I've been pondering in my absence. I've got a lot of very big decisions to make. I don't intend to leave YouTube. I very much intend to keep my channel up, but unfortunately it's one of those things where, although it's not all about the money, I love what I do, I love chatting to you lot, I love putting my videos out there, but it's so time consuming. I mean, it's a whole day to film a makeup video with the prep of the makeup beforehand, the actual makeup itself, and then the cleanup. You're looking at another 2, sometimes 3 days to edit each video, not to mention all the time you put into creating the ideas, designing the makeups, researching, sourcing products, wigs, costumes. Very time consuming, and with the best will in the world, if you need an income and you need to pay your bills and eat, you cannot do it for free. And now that YouTube has demonetized my channel, and there's no saying that they will remonetize it, I do have a lot of big decisions to make. I'm not quite sure which direction to go at the moment, but there's a will, there's a way, and I'm going to try and find some way to continue producing my videos, especially as a lot of other kind of big special effects YouTubers, I say other big YouTubers, that makes it sound like I'm a big YouTuber, I'm not, I'm tiny. Other special effects YouTubers is what I should have said, are leaving. And the last question is, Ali says, what's your favourite thing about being a YouTuber? Would you recommend it to anyone else? My favourite thing about being a YouTuber is just building a kind of a YouTube family, albeit a very small one at the moment for me, but having control over my own creativity, and just, I love being on video, I love being on camera, which a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers hate it, but I love it. I feel very at home on camera. I feel like it's a natural place for me to be. Would I recommend it to anyone else? Yes, with caveats. It's not an easy thing to do at all in any way, shape or form. It's very time consuming. You have to be very dedicated, you have to be very consistent. YouTube have dramatically shifted the goalposts a lot lately. You had to be very thick-skinned because you get some rather nasty comments, even somebody as small as myself. I've been told to go die, I've been called a disgusting bitch. So I would wholeheartedly recommend it if you are prepared to put your whole heart and soul into it, and you are prepared to take what one of my business mentors, Marie Folio, would call the shit sandwich. Really love something, you know, you really want to do something if you're prepared to eat the shit sandwich that comes along with it. If you love what you do, then it's worth it, but it's not an easy option at all. And yeah, thank you for sticking with me, everybody, in my absence. Thank you for all my new subscribers that keep popping up even though I haven't been posting anything. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe here. If you'd like to watch that zombie bride that I was making reference to, then you can see that here. And then there'll be an end card there and there. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put there yet. And I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you soon.